You've probably been told you're too sensitive. Maybe someone called you too emotional or said you overthink everything. And here's what's wild. The very things people criticized you for, those might actually be your greatest psychological strengths. Because emotional intelligence doesn't look the way most people think it does. It's not about being calm all the time. It's not about having perfect control over your feelings. And it definitely doesn't show up on any report card. Most people with genuinely high emotional intelligence have absolutely no idea they have it, because nobody ever told them what it actually looks like. Here's something that might stop you mid-scroll. Psychologist Daniel Goleman, who literally wrote the book on emotional intelligence back in 1995, found that EQ, emotional quotient, is actually a stronger predictor of life success than IQ, stronger than grades, stronger than test scores, stronger than any traditional measure of intelligence. And yet, most people with high EQ go their entire lives not recognizing it in themselves. Why? Because the signs are quiet, they're subtle. They don't come with trophies or certificates. They show up in the way you move through relationships, through conflict, through your own inner world. And today, we're going to name every single one of them. The first sign is one that might genuinely surprise you. You feel other people's emotions almost like they're your own. You walk into a room and you can immediately sense the tension, even when everyone's smiling and pretending everything is fine. A friend says, "I'm okay," and something inside you knows they're not. This isn't coincidence. This isn't you being nosy or intrusive. Neuroscientists call this mirror neuron activation. Your brain is literally wired to pick up on the emotional states of people around you. It's an advanced form of empathy that most people simply don't possess. You don't just hear what someone says. You feel what they mean, and that is rare. The second sign is that you think before you react, and this might be the one people misread most often. When something upsets you, your first instinct isn't to explode. You pause, you process. Sometimes you go quiet for a while. People around you might mistake this for being cold, or checked out, or not caring. But what's actually happening is sophisticated emotional regulation. Something psychologists describe as the ability to create space between a trigger and a response. Viktor Frankl wrote about this exact principle after surviving the Holocaust. He said that between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lies human freedom. If you naturally live in that space, even without trying, your emotional intelligence is operating at a level most people spend years in therapy trying to reach. Here's the third one, and this might make you uncomfortable at first. You feel genuine discomfort when you're not being authentic, when you have to pretend, when you're forced into small talk that feels hollow, when you say yes, but you mean no. That tension you feel in those moments isn't anxiety. It's your emotional awareness refusing to let you betray yourself without noticing. Leon Festinger called this cognitive dissonance, the psychological discomfort of holding two conflicting truths at once. People with low emotional intelligence barely register this feeling. They numb it, but you feel it clearly because your internal compass is calibrated and sensitive, and it alerts you the moment something is off. The fourth sign is something you probably do every single day without realizing how unusual it actually is. You're genuinely curious about why people behave the way they do. Not just the what, but the why. When someone lashes out at you, your brain doesn't just feel the hurt. It quietly asks, what is that person carrying right now? What pain is driving this? This isn't weakness. This is what psychologists call mentalization. The ability to understand that other people have their own inner worlds, their own histories, their own emotional logic that has nothing to do with you. Research by Peter Fonagy at University College London found that this capacity is one of the highest indicators of emotional and psychological maturity. You've had it your whole life, and you probably called it something else entirely. Now, the fifth sign is one that hits differently. You can sit with someone else's pain without trying to fix it. Most people are terrified of sitting in someone else's discomfort, so they offer advice, they change the subject, they try to silver line everything, because the pain makes them anxious. But you can stay in that difficult moment with someone. You can say, "I'm here," and mean it without reaching for a solution. Brené Brown's research on empathy shows that this, just being present with someone in their pain without judgment, is one of the most healing things one human being can offer another. And it's something emotionally intelligent people do naturally, almost instinctively. The sixth sign might be the one you've struggled with most. You feel things deeply, and sometimes that depth exhausts you. After long social interactions, you need time to decompress. You're moved by music, by stories, by the suffering of strangers you've never met. You replay conversations. You wonder if you said the wrong thing. Society has taught you to see this sensitivity as a flaw. But what you're actually experiencing is what Elaine Aron's research defines as high sensory processing sensitivity, a nervous system that is tuned in more finely than most. This depth of feeling is the engine of your emotional intelligence. It's not a bug. It has always been the feature. And the seventh sign, and this one is perhaps the most quietly powerful of all, you hold space for complexity. You understand that people are not simply good or bad, that situations are rarely black and white, that someone can hurt you and still be a person worth understanding, that you can be angry and also compassionate at the same time. This capacity for nuance, for holding tension without collapsing it into something simpler, is what psychologists call integrative complexity. And it is extraordinarily rare. It requires a level of emotional development that most people never reach, because it demands that you resist the very human urge to make things simple, just to feel safe. So here's what I want you to sit with today. Every sign on this list, the sensitivity, the pausing, the depth, the discomfort with inauthenticity, the curiosity about other people, these were never your weaknesses. They were never the things you needed to fix or suppress or apologize for. They were always the most sophisticated parts of you working exactly the way they were meant to. Emotional intelligence isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It lives quietly in the way you love, the way you listen, the way you carry both yourself and the people around you through the hardest moments. And now that you know what to call it, the real question is, what are you going to do with it? Because the people who struggle most with emotional intelligence, they're not strangers. And the next video will show you exactly who they are and what it costs everyone around them.